Thrones post-show discussion, talking about everything that we all just watched and witnessed on Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. It is our post-Battle of Winterfell episode, and guys, there's a whole lot of stuff that went on, some beautiful, brilliant drama going on. I told you Dany was a jerk. No, nobody else. She is a jerk of the highest jerk order, but we'll get into that in just a second. Of course, joining us, of course, is Ann Campea. Ann, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I think I know how you feel about Dany.
She's a jerk. And also joining us, of course, is Kaori Takei. Kaori, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I think I used the B word a little too much in this episode.
You used it a lot when we were watching the show. You were like full on. Every time Dany did something, you were like full on B word, B word, B word. Maybe if I turn my microphone on, that'll be a little bit better. You were like constantly B word, B word, B word, but that's okay because I was just agreeing right along with you. Guys, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about here today. We're going to talk about this episode of Game of Thrones. We're going to give you our impressions here first. And after that, we want to spend the majority of the show just really listening to what you guys have to say about this episode. There was a lot of drama. Another dragon died. So there was that, a glorious funeral scene, all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to start off. I'm going to tell you what. There have been a lot of great single lines in Game of Thrones. There have been a lot of great lines in Game of Thrones over the years. But Tormund, this episode, gave us the single greatest line of dialogue there has ever been in Game of Thrones. And that is, which one of you cowards shit in my pants? That is the greatest line ever. I want a t-shirt with Tormund's face on it and that line written underneath. I don't think there's ever been a better line. A lot of stuff. Missandei dies. The dragon, I don't even know the name of the dragon.
Viserion?
No, Viserion was last episode.
Rhaegar.
Yeah, Rhaegar, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad.
The dragon dies. War is getting declared. It's all sorts of mayhem. And let's go over to you right now. What were your general impressions of this week's episode?
Ooh, okay. So it definitely started off with the tone that I expected it to, right? So we just got through that epic battle, and for them to have this moment where they can say goodbye to all of those that were lost in the battle, that was really nice. But we all said that this episode was going to be about bringing it back to what the show has been ultimately about, which is the Iron Throne, and who currently sits on the Iron Throne, Cersei. So absolutely happy to see her, back on the screen. While everybody was fighting the battle of Winterfell, she was amassing her army. She was building these gigantic dragon killer crossbows. So she's been preparing herself, and I'm scared because the army that Daenerys is coming in with is not nearly as big as the army that Cersei now has.
Well, I mean, that was kind of staggering when they showed the shot outside of King's Landing, and she was there with what, like 100 guys? Like, I don't know why Cersei didn't just rush her army out the gates and just kill them all right then and there. I mean, Jon Snow hadn't showed up. They didn't want to take their time. Again, Dany dispelling the wise sage advice, going, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. And like a total jerk. And she said, no, we're just going to bring everybody there. Got Missandei killed, all that kind of stuff. Got her dragon killed because she didn't want to wait. So again, we see her pride getting the better of her and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I really wish they showed us Jon telling his sisters the truth when he said, now I get it. I guess from a filmmaking point of view, you don't have to show it because we know what's going to be said. So I can see saving screen time, just showing him say, I have something I have to tell you. I get it, but it kind of would have been a little bit more satisfying to see that, I think. Anyway, Kaori, you watched the episode here today. What were your initial impressions?
My initial impressions, funeral scene was lovely. It was great to see.
It was great, yeah.
Us say goodbye to all our characters that we've grown to love, especially you with Lady Mormont over there.
Oh, best character in this show ever.
The big thing I'm really glad about is they kept touching on the lineage and how Jon Snow really has the right to the throne, and the conversations between Varys and Tyrion and what to do, very exciting. I really love that they were like, well, look, Jon Snow actually might be better for it. So let's see how they deal with that. And the other part that I really liked was Jaime and Brienne.
Oh, that's, yeah, everybody loved that. People were shipping that all across the country. They're all about that. By the way, and how great, what's Brienne of Tarth's the actress's name? Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah.
How great was she in this episode?
Oh,
Yeah.
every
She was
episode.
so good in this episode. She was like sweet. The tears came. She's shown more emotion in these last few episodes, which was absolutely wonderful. And then Jaime doing the classic, "I'm a dick. You don't want to have anything to do with me" thing to leave. And I mean, so good. But again, it all comes down to, for me, which one of you cowards shit in my pants? That was just so great. But again, we're seeing Dany. Now everybody else is seeing it too.
Yeah.
She's not about breaking the wheel. She's now about playing the game. And it came with Gendry, right? Mm-hmm. The whole thing about, I'm going to name you Lord of Storm. What's the name of the Baratheon keep again?
Storm's End, I think.
Storm's End. Yeah, I'm going to make you that. So now she's playing the Game of Thrones herself. She cares more about her having the throne. And that whole conversation she had with John about, don't tell anybody, keep it a
Horrible.
secret, because they'll say you can take what's mine. It's like, well, technically it isn't yours, but that's your biggest concern right now. And then saying she'd rather slaughter innocent people. I mean, it's just over and over again. She shows herself to be a jerk, but I love the character deeply, because the show wouldn't be nearly as good without her.
Well, and she's lost everything at this point,
has.
right?
Oh,
I mean,
almost.
outside of the last dragon, obviously she still has Tyrion by her side, but she lost her best friend. She lost her hand. She lost her son, her
One of
child.
her two of them now.
So it's accumulating to get to the point that now I think she just doesn't give a crap.
Right, and we're seeing a face, literally her face, in that Targaryen crazy look, especially
Yeah.
towards the end, the end cutscene, where she looks like she's ready to do some damage at whatever cost it takes.
Yeah, and there was
you know?
a bit of that music. They did this right with the score when they were showing her face during
Right.
that scene, where it did that really high pitched, like I don't know what cello sound, but it was a screech. And just with that look on her face, I was like, "Yep, she's gone."
She's gone.
Yeah,
She's gone. She suffered a lot, but I think Varys is becoming, if I'm pronouncing his name right, the eunuch dude.
Yep.
I mean, he's like, I've seen lots of tyrants use destiny as their terms before, and all this kind of stuff. And you're even seeing doubts now in Tyrion.
Oh yeah.
Like, even Tyrion is doubting, and he's desperate to stay loyal and all this kind of stuff. But he has pledged loyalty, right? And John has pledged loyalty, and that's got to count for something. It's going to be, what's Sansa going to do with this information? I mean, that's what I'm really, and as a matter of fact, when I saw her talking to Brienne, remember when Jaime was coming around, it turns out she was just getting information about what happened to the naval fleet. But I thought she might have been telling Brienne what she found out, but
Right.
apparently that wasn't the case. What's she going to do with this information? And by the way, when she says to Tyrion, what if there's somebody better? I can't help but wonder if she tells Tyrion about John, but the somebody better she's referring to might have been Arya. I mean, I don't know why she would
somebody
have a
else.
case for that.
Right,
I don't know why she would have a case for that. So probably not. I'm reading too much into that. But
What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Jaime is going back to save Cersei or to kill her? Because to me, Ron comes back ready to kill both brothers, explicitly saying, Cersei told me to order this. I'm not going to do it
Yeah.
because you guys might be able to hook me up with Highgarden. So what do you guys think?
I think both. I think the answer is both. I think he's going to try to talk her out of the throne, try to say, look, just step down for the good of yourself, for the good of our child, for the good of everybody. And I don't think she will. And then he'll end up probably being the one to kill her. Her or Tyrion or Arya. Remember, Arya is sworn to kill her.
Right, and she's on her way.
She's on her way. She says she's got unfinished business there, so there's all that to get around to as well. All right, guys, listen. We've chatted a little bit, but we want to save the meat of this, really, for what you guys have to say about all this. So let's dive now into the live questions. You guys have been firing in a bunch of live questions and comments and observations already, so let's hop to it. And we're going to start off with the first one from The Film Dawn. And The Film Dawn writes, just put my brightness and configurations all the way up. I know, I was wondering about that too. I was wondering like, geez, before we start this episode, do I have to change the settings on my TV again? Turns out most of this episode was in the daylight. Thank goodness Film Dawn, so we didn't have to worry about it. All right, Angel Chang writes, about to watch, I'm almost hoping that John turns to the camera and says, damn, you really just defeated all the White Walkers all by yourself? That was something else. And I thought it was interesting, again, playing the game, but Dany specifically mentions, she raises a toast to Arya Stark, the hero of Winterfell. So it's kind of good that everybody knows what happened. And so she's doing that as well. So that's kind of cool. All right. We move on now to Stephen Foley, who sends in a very big super chat. Thank you for that, Stephen. All right. And Stephen writes, "Hey, John, so I'm the case study. Late to the party for Game of Thrones. Binged it in 14 days.
Wow. Did you sleep?
Watching new season week to week, and I love it. But really prefer immersing myself into the world. Binge or week to week for you?" Oh, Stephen, that's a great question. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a binge guy. I really am. I mean, if I'm a network executive, I do week to week, because that's how you build momentum for the show. That's how you build word of mouth. I think that's been proven a lot lately, that when you just drop a season at once, people talk about it for a short period of time and then it's done. When you put out something week to week, it takes on a life of its own. So I much prefer watching in a binge setting, but if I was an executive, I would do it week to week, but I'm more of a binge guy myself, I got to admit. What about you, Kaori? Are you more of a binge person or a week to week?
I'm more of a binge person myself, but I think you have a good point. Definitely week to week makes us build up that anticipation. Yeah.
Anne?
Yeah, I'm a week to week. I don't know what it is about binge watching. I can't do it myself. I do like the break in between to kind of just remember
Simmer?
what happened and simmer on it and speculate and read all the theories online. So I do like the week to week pace.
I mean, I got to admit, even if I preferred week to week, I have a hard time not binging, because I've had shows where I'm behind and I'm late to the party on a show, and I'll start watching and it'll be like, well, damn, I got to watch the next one. I did that with, what's the one right now? Umbrella Academy.
Oh, right.
I did that with Umbrella Academy. I had to watch Umbrella Academy. And then I play one episode and then well, I got to watch the next one now. And then I play the next one. Well, I got to watch the next one now. It's like, oh, look, it's 3 a.m. And I just did that with Titans as well.
That's how I get left on many of these shows.
Yes, it is.
Because of this binge watcher over here.
Well, it shows, most of the time it shows you weren't interested in anyway. I've been trying to get you, though, Anne. I've been trying to get you on
what's that show you kept talking about?
I keep talking about Doom Patrol. I keep trying to get you on Doom Patrol. It was our audience that told me about it, and I've been totally hooked on it ever since. So got to get you on Doom Patrol. Totally got to get you on that.
I'm trying to get you guys into Kingdom so I can talk about it.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. But anyway, we're here to talk about game. Anyway, Stephen, to your question, I think most of us, I think me and Kaori, definitely more in the binging camp. Even if I don't want to be, I am. Anne's likes that more simmering from week to week. I can see both, but yeah, it's hard to stop watching. But Anne, come on, Lucifer starting this week.
That I may have to binge.
And you and I know we're both going to binge that. We both know that. Okay, thanks for that, Stephen. Let's move on to the next question. And the next one comes to us from Apex Caliber, who writes, "Race to see who's a bigger Mad Queen." Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great point.
she's a Mad Queen too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what I liked in this episode? That Tyrion came out, and this is something I really like about Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is all, other than Joffrey and other than Ramsay Bolton, everybody in this show is about shades of gray. Like even the Red Woman, at times thinking she's the evilest of the evil, then she's good, whether it's the Hound, but Tyrion comes out and he appeals to what he knows is a good side to Cersei. Like, I've seen you love your children above anything else in the world. Like, she's capable of that. But she doesn't. So we see, and now we see even in, Dany, that for a lot of the show, she's been this really purely motivated good guy, and now she's got a jerk streak to her. I mean, everybody's shades of gray in this show. And I've really, really liked that, Apex, that, now we've got two bad choices, Cersei or Dany.
Yeah.
And even Tyrion is now saying Jon would be the better king.
Yeah.
Jon would be the better king. All right, what's next here? Apex Caliber writes, who would be the Thanos of Game of Thrones?
Oh.
Without saying anything about Endgame, I guess, the Night King.
I was going to say the Night King too.
Night King was out Thanos was out to eliminate half the world or half the universe. Night King
wanted everlasting night.
Wanted all life dead and wanted everlasting night. So I guess the easy answer, is going to be the Night King. All right. Ryan Lohner writes, I swear Peter Dinklage was under the impression Cersei would be standing right in front of him when that scene was cut together. Yeah, I remember thinking as the show was playing, he doesn't seem to be projecting his voice very
No.
much.
I know. I thought that
Come
too.
on, Cersei. I know you love your...
That's
She was
true.
Cersei. I know you love... But it was
I
just,
didn't notice that. That's true.
It's like, really? But
I was
know
like, they're
Corey-
very quiet.
Well, both of you guys. You guys
shitty.
were stressing out when he was walking up and the archers pulled out their stuff, right? Like, you guys really thought... Do
She
you
might be
really
gone.
think there was a chance she was going to end him right there?
I think there's a
No.
possibility because I just never know with Cersei. And she raised her hand about to like say fire. Then she did the fist thing. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
I think Tyrion. There have been many opportunities that she could have killed him.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't believe that it would have happened in that instance. She's got a
But
plan.
you know what? Like Corey, you said you never know with Cersei. I say you never know with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just never know. And I actually thought, oh my God, she might do it. But I was joking around when she went like this. I thought, what if one of the archers thought that was the fire signal? I just let one go. Anyway. Okay. The film Dawn writes, John, tell them Bran. Oh shit.
Yeah, he did make that face.
He did. And you know what I thought? And I said this while we were watching it. He made Arya swear, she swore. Made Sansa swear, she swore. He didn't make Bran swear. So I thought if it was going to get out, Bran might have took it upon himself as the three-eyed raven to let people know. But no, Sansa said, screw that I
Yeah.
swore. People need to know.
Good girl.
And she
I know,
decided to
right?
let it out. Okay, Apex Caliber writes, three-way war with Night King would have been more epic. I disagree.
Yeah.
I completely disagree. I think, like I've said this for the longest time, the White Walkers and the Night King have always been a secondary story in Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones has been about the Iron Throne. That's what this show has been about. That's what the vast, vast, vast amount of screen time spanning, and now in our 8th season, 8 seasons have been about the drama behind the Game of Thrones. That's what this movie's about. I fully endorse and support the notion that you bring the White Walkers' side story to a close in the final season, but prior to the end of the show. Now you focus on what this show has really been about. The show isn't called White Walkers. This show isn't called The Night King. This show is called The Game of Thrones. And if you add up in hours, the amount of hours in this show that have been dedicated to the whole drama around the Game of Thrones versus how many hours have been dedicated to the White Walkers, it's embarrassingly uneven. It's all been about the drama. And a three-way war makes no sense to me personally. And I think they did the exact right thing. The White Walker side story had to be ended, and then you had to focus on what the real story of this show has been in the final 3 episodes. And I mean, do you guys have anything else to add to that?
I agree with you.
Yeah,
'Cause
agreed.
And it's not always about battle per se. It's a lot about the chemistry on screen with all the characters and the diversity and how everyone's shifted.
Yep.
So
Completely agree. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one comes to us from Lycon0, who writes, why does it feel like the entire threat of the White Walkers amounted to nothing more than a way to weaken Dany's army to make them fair? I disagree with that. I mean, look, they have been a secondary story, yes, but a prime secondary story all the way through. They've been laying down the foundations about the Night King, the connection between him and the Three-Eyed Raven, like all this kind of stuff. It all came to a head in that Battle of Winterfell, this epic, full episode long thing, ultimately ending with Arya killing the Night King, which the strangest thing I thought was when the showrunner said they knew years ago that they wanted Arya to be the one to kill him. And I thought that was brutally interesting. So it's just a matter of how they do that. So I never felt that at all. I never felt that one way or the other. But I don't know, did you guys see that anyway?
No, I didn't.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I mean, I feel kind of like the Night King and the White Walkers were a very major device to strengthen how much people loved Jon Snow and how he grew into being, per se, a leader and their king, and also how to show us what Arya has become.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that grew out of the White Night King's storyline, but so I don't think it was a waste.
Yeah, and I think everyone had a choice in
Yeah.
the matter, right? So Daenerys decided to go fight the White Walkers, whereas Cersei had the same choice, and she said, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to stay here and meanwhile amass my army. But everybody had a decision to make, and sadly, that's ultimately what happens to Daenerys' army, is half of it is gone now.
And it helped propel the drama between Cersei
Absolutely.
and Dany and Jon Snow. I mean, it served so many narrative functions that it's almost hard to count at this point. So I really enjoyed it. Let's see. Amir B writes, the last 20 minutes was so intense, I'm worried for Tyrion. I'm starting to wonder if Tyrion makes it.
I agree.
I'm telling you.
There's a long way to go from where he's standing back to where the army is.
That's a long walk.
Every step, I was like, oh my goodness.
That is a long walk, but that was a very tough final couple of minutes. And you know, one of you guys, and it might have been you that said, like, when, what's the girl's name? Missandei? Missandei or whatever. I never know how to pronounce it right. Fast and Furious girl. One of you guys said, oh, she's going to jump. And I thought, you know what?
It would have been.
At that height, there's a 60-40 chance that she survives that fall. Break some legs, whatever, but I think there's a chance she survives that fall. And then I'm thinking, maybe she just should have jumped, but then the archers just would have picked her off anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess the way she went was much preferred, just very quick. Okay, I take it back. Maybe that wouldn't have made much sense. But you're right, Amir, that final 20 minutes was intense. All right, Life's Good writes, oh my, how I want Cersei to die so bad. No mercy. I mean, they're kind of setting her up. I know not all you guys watched one of the greatest television shows of all time, Sons of Anarchy. But when they had Gemma murder Jax's love interest, it just sent the world that watched that show into, oh, she's got to die. Oh, she's got to die.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get, like, I don't know that they've ever matched that level of hatred that the audiences felt as they did with Joffrey. They came close, maybe equaled it with Ramsay.
Right.
I think they're trying to get the audience to the point where they feel the same way with Cersei. I don't know that we'll get there, though. I don't know what that will... Like, do you guys find as much animosity towards Cersei as, say, there was towards Ramsay and Joffrey, or maybe more?
No, because I think Cersei's... We feel for her. And if you rewatch the first season, you feel bad for her because she was a peon by her father to, join forces with Baratheon, and she loves Robert Baratheon, and he didn't love her back. And she has a sad story as well, so you feel for her.
Lost her children.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole thing about with the shame thing that she trusted this dude, and then he even turned on her. And I mean, she's had some empathy.
Yep, she has
moments that would call from us for the audience. So I don't know if they're going to get to the same level as they did with Joffrey and Ramsay.
And her motivation was always for her kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always for her kids, and even now, being pregnant still is.
Right.
But a lot of people want to see her die real bad right now. PJ Barnes writes, over under 65% Daenerys dies in the next episode. Oof. Oh, man.
No, she's going to survive.
The next episode as opposed to the last episode? Woo. Right. I don't know. They may have done some foreshadowing with Varys, but maybe Tyrion betrays Varys and chooses loyalty to Dany, or maybe Tyrion has to break his own heart and betray Dany, or Dany murders. I still think there's a chance she tries to murder Jon.
Ooh.
I still think there's a chance she tries to murder Jon. But I don't know. There's so much. They have so deliciously set this up that I can't really guess where this is going to go. Like I don't know. What was the question here? Over under 65% that she dies. I got to take the under 65% that she dies in the next episode. Ann?
I'm going to go over in the next episode.
Over 65% that she dies in the next episode.
Yeah, because she did say in this episode that this is how I know I think she's far gone. She said, I don't care if we kill the entire village of people. Yeah. So I think at that point, when you say something as crazy as that, I do think, and it being the 5th episode, the second to the last, I'm going to take the over because some shit's going to go down next week.
What about you, Carol? Over or under 65% that she dies in the next episode?
Next episode, I think she has a survival rate of 65%.
So you're going to take the under 65%. Yeah, I agree. So we got 1 over. We got 2 under on that one. All right, let's move on to the next one. Ryan B writes, Daenerys is losing it. Yep. She is. But she's just manifesting, guys, what I've been saying. I've been telling you the glimpses of this for a long time. Yeah. And we're finally starting to see it. Apex Caliber writes, everyone turning on Dany, though, feels quick/forced. I don't think so. Because, listen, Varys has had his concerns for a long time. Ever since we saw her kill Sam's dad and brother just because, oh, you won't swear loyalty to me? Burn him alive. You know, they have been dropping, I gotta say, Apex, it doesn't feel as quick or forced to me. They have been foreshadowing this and hinting at this about her kind of losing it and some people noticing it and recognizing for a while. Sansa has kind of sniffed it out right from the beginning. Sansa just kind of knows she's not worthy to be queen. At least not as things currently are. Like, who knows? Maybe in the last 2 episodes, Dany does something incredibly heroic and sacrificial and earns it. I don't know, but yeah, it does. I got to disagree, Apex. It does not feel quick or forced to me. I mean, I've been telling you guys for a couple of years now, she's a jerk. And none of you wanted to listen to me. And now you're saying it feels quick and forced? I don't think so. But maybe. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right. Ryan Lohner writes, was really hoping we'd see Tormund and Brienne find out that they both survived. Aww. They're in the happiness of seeing Jaime and Brienne get together. It is a little sad to see the end of the greatest romance on television. And then he was so heartbroken. He was crying. He was so heartbroken. But then as soon as one of the girls came up, I'm not afraid of wildlings. Then he was perfectly fine. All right, here we go. I mean, he was perfectly fine on that. But did you... Let me ask you, Anne,
Yes.
Did you really think Brienne would end up with Jaime?
No.
Or with Tormund?
I didn't think she'd end up with either of them, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised by the hookup between Jaime and Brienne. I always thought that they should be a good pairing, but I just didn't expect that to actually happen. Yeah, and I was looking at you because Jaime's your favorite.
Jaime's my favorite. And I did not expect him to reciprocate that kind of love to her. And to see him briefly happy and in love with someone who wasn't his sister was a very refreshing moment.
Yes.
That
so nice
didn't last.
To see you in love with somebody who's not your sister. That's great. Lone Wolf X6 writes, that ending, Daenerys is pissed at Cersei. She messed up. I felt that rage boiling on screen. And you know what I think part of the rage is from? That she knows this is partly her fault.
Yeah.
They told her, hold off. Wait. Don't rush things. I know they've got her. I know they killed your dragon. But we got... And by the way, she also knows that she was warned not to even march the armies out. Yeah. Cersei said, look, everybody's tired. Everybody's wounded. Everybody's still recovering.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes, lady. And she's like, no. And away they go. So I think she's partially pissed at herself. I think she might be partially pissed at herself.
Well, and John backed her up in that whole argument as they were strategizing on that table, you know. And
he's annoying when he does that.
If he didn't side with her, maybe there would have been a shot for it to go differently. But
well, I mean, he didn't side with her. He just say, we'll do whatever you command.
Well...
But he should have then said, but I respectfully suggest listening to my sister. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot going on there. But, man, she was pissed. And understandably so, of course. Alan Valley writes, do you feel Tyrion has kind of been a useless character for the past 2 seasons? Glad he finally had the stage at the end of the episode. I don't believe that at all. I mean, even if you just go back to the season finale last season, he was the pivotal character.
Yeah.
That said, now granted, Cersei lied to him, but he was the pivotal character in all of that. He's been instrumental even in last season about staying Dany's hand, about being the quiet voice of reason in Dany's ear. I think he's been absolutely instrumental. He hasn't been the key center of attention as he has been in some previous seasons, but I think they've used him very well, personally. But as much as previous seasons, no. But not everybody, pardon me, can be like the central spotlight for the entire time. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, I think, I think he's been integral in the whole show. I mean, there's no Game of Thrones without Tyrion, like, as part of the main cast. But I think I was just, as you were talking, I just, came to the realization that I think this episode alone is what kind of breaks his character now. Because all the things that he believed were going to happen, that he could be reasonable with Cersei, that was it. I feel like maybe he's defeated.
And his thinking that he could be reasonable with Dany might be going out the window too. And he's finding himself at a crossroads, and now he's got this information about Jon. He's got Varys whispering in his ear now. He's in a tough spot. How do you see the use of Tyrion?
Me?
Yeah.
I think that he's very vital in every step of the way. He's been in every single episode, right? Maybe except for the Battle of the Bastards. I don't remember. Everything's all washed away. But yeah, and now he's, technically used as an ear from Sansa to tell Varys, right? And I think, he's just... No, I don't think he's useless at all or anything.
A lot of information would just stay where it is if it wasn't for Tyrion. So I think if you put it that way, I think Tyrion has been the thing that keeps the show moving.
Even for the viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, in many ways. He drinks and he knows things. All right, let's see. Where are we at? We're at Lone Wolf X6 writes, you broke my nose. No, I didn't. I know what a broken nose sounds like. No, I didn't. I've been breaking noses since I was your size, and I know what a broken nose sounds like. That was a great line.
Yes.
He just kind of sauntered in there out of nowhere.
I like how people can just come in and out of Winterfell like no problem.
Just walked in, huge crossbow, gonna kill you both.
And where's he going after that? I
was a little scared he was gonna kill one of them.
Right. Yeah.
But remember too, both of those guys, for different times and different reasons, both owe Bronn their lives.
That's true.
Yes.
That is
He
true.
has saved both of them in different ways at different times.
Yes.
So him with this saying, look, I'm sick of all of you.
Right.
Somebody give me my due.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
But I bet we haven't seen the last of him. When he says, my fighting days are over, I don't believe that.
That last shot of the show might just be Bronn sitting at the High Castle,
Could you
like drinking a
imagine?
beer or something.
Yep, very well. All right, what's next here? We got Lone Wolf writes, well, Arya and the Hound took off. Well, no, they're riding down to join Jon, I think. They're just riding probably just a little bit behind Jon. They both said they've got business at King's Landing, so they're both heading to where Jon's heading. So I don't think they just took off on their own. I might be wrong, but I don't think they did. Buddy Biggs writes, Qyburn is the most capable hand we've ever seen. Hey, listen, he's conniving. He's intelligent. He's resourceful. He's smooth. I mean,
Well,
seriously,
sounds like
if
a
you
nice
were
guy.
if you were king of King's Landing, I can think of worse hands to have. I mean, he created the mountain, for heaven's
Yeah.
sakes. And every bit of advice he's given Cersei has paid off in one way or the other.
Yeah.
And isn't he the one who took her down to the catacombs to show off the catapult? Not
Yeah.
the catapult, but
Yes.
the giant crossbow, the
Yes.
thing, that weapon, when he put it through the skull of a dragon.
Oh yeah,
I
he's
mean,
sick.
He's been a pretty handy hand. I mean, if you really think about it. Okay, Al Zolas writes, flying pretty high and doesn't notice a whole fleet of ships. Pfft. Also, doesn't flank behind the ships. Good episode, but that scene was meh.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I know.
Good
But
point.
then again, it's like Dany with these decisions and
She was just getting cocky.
you know what I mean?
You know?
Yeah.
Confident.
Yeah, she didn't think at all they could be prepared. I don't think they were thinking about needing to be on the lookout.
Not thinking.
They kept the Iron Fleet hidden behind in that cove, and then came out the last second. I mean, yeah, she had been smart. Says, I need to do reconnaissance. We need to know what we're getting into. Fly like a mile high. Go as high as she can breathe, and look down and figure out if there's any problems, all that kind of stuff. But, they also sent in the what's the name of the Raiders? Dothraki. So they sent in the Dothraki charging into the midnight darkness against the White Walkers. So maybe military strategy isn't her strongest point. Let's see here. Where are we at? That was Al. We're at Lionel Franco, who writes, Arya cold as ice. Tyrion not in a good spot, and he knows it. Trying to be okay with the pace of this episode. I thought this episode was wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, guys. I know some people have some problems, but I have adored. I'm not the biggest Game of Thrones fan. I have adored every single episode this season. The drama, the dialogue, the character dynamics, the intrigue, the backstabbing, the scheming, the reunions, the farewells, the battles. I have just ate this whole thing up. And this episode, 2 more major characters die. Miss Sandy, I always say her name wrong, and another one of the dragons gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're dropping like flies towards this end thing. So, and you're right, Tyrion's in a tough spot, Lionel. Tyrion is in a tough spot. Roman Stewart writes, R.I.P. Rhaegal and Miss Sandy. Yep, 2 more characters died. So just in the last 2 episodes, we've had Theon, we've had Jorah, we've had the Night's Watch guy,
Lyanna,
Lyanna.
Beric,
Yep.
Now
Melisandre.
Missandei, the dragon. I mean, the body count just keeps climbing. The body count just keeps climbing, and we've still got the final 2 episodes to go. I don't think the body count is done.
Now, do you guys think Drogon's a goner? Because she flew her dragon towards she got mad crazy when she saw her kid go down. So I'm thinking maybe she's going to end up losing her 3rd dragon.
I don't know. I mean, she's walking towards
crazy.
something right now.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping she gets on Drogon and they fly away back.
Because for a second there, I
strategize.
was like, crap, they're going to shoot. Well, they did shoot at the dragon.
I mean, the dragon is wide open right now. So,
But a good distance, I think, out of range. You got the dragon out of range at this point, but... nasty stuff coming. All right, Dom writes, the Mad Queen, that's what we're getting.
Yep.
She is her father's
Absolutely.
daughter, and I think they know it. They're heading for the Mad Queen. Emmanuel Ericart writes, on Bill Lumberg words, if you could look to the front while flying a dragon into a fight, that'd be great. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Bill, of course, is from Office Space. If you could look to the front when flying a dragon, that would be great. We are not in the never-ending story, Danny. Yep, you raise a great point, Emmanuel. That's good. Now all I'm going to be able to hear is that whole thing in Bill's words, in Bill's voice. Thank you so much for planting that in my head, Emmanuel. All right, Timothy Platt writes, number 1, people need to learn to keep stuff to themselves. Number 2, Emilia Clarke crushed it this episode. 3, die Cersei, die.
Yeah.
And by the way, as much as I really despise the Dany character, the more I hate her because she's a jerk, the more that's a testament to the performance that Emilia Clarke is giving this character. I think you're right. I think Emilia Clarke was brilliant this episode. I think she's been great all season. The way she's playing, I think she's got some internal turmoil. I think Dany's got internal turmoil between the Mad Queen side and the side that started the way she started off, wanting to be the breaker of chains, wanting to be somebody that breaks the wheel, not takes control of the wheel. And you can see that playing out in her head, and that a lot of that I think is because of Dany's performance in this. And I mean, full marks. I mean, she's part of the reason. And Dany being such a jerk is part of the reason why I'm so emotionally invested in the show right now. It's like, it's just so great. And she's a big part of that reason. All right. Ryan Lohner writes, Cersei is stuck with a fat, dull guy and pretending Jaime's baby is his. It must feel like a hell she can never escape. Well, here's the funny thing, Ryan. As she told him that she was having his kid, and by the way, he's not fat. Anyway.
Yeah, he's not fat.
that he's the father. I said to you guys, I said, she's already planned how she's going to kill this guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Am I wrong on that? Or it's he's going to die and Cersei's going to kill him.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Some way or another.
You don't think they're going to follow this through? You think, like me, that she's going to end this little thing pretty quick?
I think he's definitely a goner, and I think it's going to be in some capacity her hand. If it's not directly from her, it'll be
either her self-stabbing or getting the mountain to off him or something like that.
We've seen enough of this, of her turning her back on people, that yes, she's got it planned out.
I just keep thinking Dawson's Creek every time I see him.
I know, he looks like Pacey.
All right, I never watched Dawson's Creek.
Oh, well, you guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you guys.
Alex Haina writes, and so the downward for Daenerys spiral begins.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then Alex follows up with, this episode had everything I love about Game of Thrones. It had the character interactions, story development, and action. Great episode. Agreed. I'm in complete agreement with you. And it had great humor along the way, too. And by the way, it was a really good moment, too, they closed off the story loop between Arya and Gendry.
Yeah.
In the only way it could. She's like, as soon as he said you could be Lady of Stormwatch. Is that what? No. What's the name of his place again?
Storm's End.
Storm's End. You can be Lady of Storm's End. She goes, I've never been a lady. You knew that's where that was going to go. And that was an appropriate ending to that. And you're right. It had it all, Alex. It had it absolute all of it. And it's just a burning fuse right now.
Yeah.
It's a burning fuse on a very short wick. And we're heading in now. Hard to imagine the final 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. Final 2 episodes. Just crazy to think about that. Okay. It's all subjective rights. Prediction. Jon leaves Dany's selfish cause. Dany loses. Hound will be defeated by Mountain. Grey Worm will save Hound and end Mountain. Ooh, Grey Worm.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that's an
Because
interesting
he's the one that
one.
just chopped the head.
That's right. Cersei ends Jaime. Arya ends Cersei. Dany ends Jon. Gendry is the king.
Oh, let's start. Hold on. Let's
That's
keep that up
crazy.
real quick.
Okay, let's go over this again
this is
here.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. So, Jon leaves Dany's selfish cause. I think at some point, either Varys or maybe even Tyrion convinced Jon that he needs to take
He has
the
to make a
throne.
choice. Yeah.
Okay. So agree with
Dany
that.
loses. Okay, so Dany loses. Hound will be defeated by Mountain. I think we've suspected that would probably happen anyway. But I thought Arya would then kill Mountain. But Grey Worm will save Hound and end the Mountain, because the Mountain is the one that beheaded his love. Cersei ends Jaime. Arya ends Cersei
I don't know about that one.
Me neither.
because of the prophecy. What the witch told her that one of her brothers would kill her. Is that why? I still think Arya might wear the face of one of her brothers.
know.
I don't know.
I think Arya's great, but for her to have both of those major kills would be just a little dissatisfying for me.
Yeah, and I also think she kind of, well, she said she's not going back to Winterfell, but she's not staying in King's
That's
Landing.
true.
She might die.
I don't know.
She might,
I-
maybe she's calling it a suicide mission.
Yeah, I think so.
And let's see. And then Arya ends Cersei. Dany ends Jon. Yeesh.
Ugh.
I thought, hey, I'm not
don't
going to lie.
want that
I
to
thought there was a
happen.
possibility she was going to knife him this episode.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna get shanked. when
really
they were
did. I
making
thought
out.
she was going to shank him this episode. I
The
really,
thing is,
really
John
did.
has died before,
And he's
so-
died before he's been there. And listen, I've said for a while, I think there's, look, I wouldn't put money on this at all, but I think there is a chance Gendry ends up as king.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the thing. The Targaryen line is a deposed line. That line's been deposed. Gendry has the true right to the throne. It is the Baratheon throne. He's the last surviving Baratheon male. He has the claim to the throne.
Right.
And I don't know why anybody hasn't talked about that.
Because he wouldn't be a good king.
He may not know, but he's a good man.
Yeah.
He's a good man. He's turned into a good man. I still like the way he answered that and said, I didn't even know I was his son till after he was dead, which is pretty good. But anyway, then everybody brings up, oh, but he can't because he's a bastard. So is Jon, and they made him king in the north. So anyway, you know who makes the rules? The kings make the rules. Anyway. So I see, but I mean, that's some bold stuff. Grey Worm ends
Like that one.
Mountain.
Makes sense.
I
Cersei
do
ends
like that.
Jaime. Arya ends Cersei. You seem to got all these dominoes set up there, all subjective. I like it. I like the way your head's going. Okay. I don't know if I agree with it all, but it's really cool thinking. We'll have to check in on this when we get later in the shows. Okay. Let's move on here. Crazy Davey just sends in a super chat. Thank you, Crazy Davey. Lone Wolf X6 writes, Arya was cold to Gendry, but when you live the life of an I am no one, love is not on the table. Sorry, bro. It's true. And you know what? I think she does love him. I think she does, but I think at the end of the day, that love doesn't supersede her mission.
Right.
And she's right. I think she doesn't believe she can be what he would need her to be.
Right.
You know, I think that is what it came down to. But I think she loves him, don't you think?
I think in a more friendly way, like friends
Yeah.
with benefits way.
In a friend with benefits way? Okay, yeah, I can see. More of a friend with benefits way. Okay, let's move on here. Crazy Davey writes, I think Jaime and Cersei will go out together.
They have.
Like on a date, or they'll die together. Is what he.
I heard he's already gotten to second base there. They may.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may. He may die
might.
alongside of her, still trying to bring her back to the light side. I mean, I don't know. He might.
know.
He might go out trying.
What if Brienne goes crazy, follows Jaime, and then kills Cersei for
Man,
him?
she could do it too.
I'd be like, that's cool.
But here's the thing. The only reason I don't think that would happen is because he is not leaving Sansa. I don't think Brienne's going to leave
no.
Sansa's
Oh,
side.
yes.
So unless
she's forward to
Sansa,
it.
with a little bit of foreshadowing, says, I wanted to watch them execute your sister, unless that comes into play and she says to Brienne, take me to King's Landing, I don't, she's an oath keeper.
Yeah,
Like, she
yeah.
is not going to leave Sansa's side, I don't think. So,
Yeah.
but it's interesting thought. Okay, let's see. Santez Henderson writes, love Dany as the unhinged, desperate queen. Great episode.
Yeah.
It was good. You know what? And again, let me emphasize this. As much as I keep saying Dany's a jerk, she's part of what makes this show so great. I mean, I love the way she's playing it. And it has been great to see, and it's cool. We're seeing this, what they have been planting the seeds of for a couple of seasons now about her becoming unhinged, and really her true motivations coming out. That, look, she's a Targaryen. She just wants the throne. She wants power. She's not concerned that, oh, John, you might not fulfill my vision of the throne. No, she's like, you're going to take what's mine. Yeah, that's what it's all about with her. It's not what's good for the people. Now she's talking about burning innocents to kill. But it's part of what makes the show so great. Anyway, Alex Haina writes, just me, or did they hint hard that John might actually die? Tormund going on about John dying for his people, the farewells to his best friends, and now there are no red priests to bring him back. It's possible, but what I got out of that really was, I think we've seen the last of Tormund.
I think so.
And I think we've seen the last of Sam too.
Yeah.
I think
and
this
Ghost.
Yeah, and Ghost. To me it wasn't a matter of, though you might be right, Alex, but when I was watching it, I didn't see it as John's farewell. I saw it as us, the audience, through John, saying farewell to Tormund and Sam. I think their role in Game of Thrones has come to an end. Now, I might be wrong about that. I might be totally wrong, but I don't know. Anne, how did you see it when that was playing out?
I actually took it both ways. So I thought it was a goodbye to those characters from John to them. But I also thought the strategy of splitting John and Daenerys up to get to King's Landing, something was going to happen. Somebody was going to get ambushed. And I was actually really surprised that it was Daenerys's camp that got ambushed. I actually thought John was a goner in this episode because he was going off on his own with part of the army.
What did you think, Corey?
I thought that was a farewell, like you said, for us viewers, to Tormund and Sam, especially since we had Gilly super pregnant. So they're going to go off and start their own life. Sam has done his duty, and virtually Jon Snow kind of released their duty. And it is sad he didn't say goodbye to Ghost and like pet him.
They looked at each other. They looked at each other like they knew what was up. They knew what was up.
This is so cute.
All right, Alex writes, I don't know why, but I did not see Rhaegal's death coming. Neither did I.
Neither did Daenerys.
I mean, neither did Daenerys.
Boom.
I mean, and like Anne was saying, I thought maybe he'd go down, but he'd still be alive. Then that last one went right through his neck, and he spit up all the blood. And
I thought it was heartbroken with Jorah, but you know what this felt like, you guys?
A puppy?
When they killed John Wick's dog.
But she still got one.
She does.
But, I mean, I think I kind of expected to see one more dragon die, maybe even both, but I didn't expect to see one die this episode.
Yeah.
I didn't. So that, I mean, look, how does Game of Thrones keep us on our toes? They do. They figure out a way to keep us on our toes. All right, Stuck on Bucky writes, they're plotting on Dany, death to Varys. No, but Varys is the one guy who sees what's coming because he's seen so many before her. He's seen so many before her, and he can sniff out a jerk when he knows one, and he smells what's coming with her. But yeah, they're plotting. They're plotting, and you know what? I don't think a good end is coming for Varys. Despite the fact that he might be the closest thing to a pure good guy in this show,
Right.
I see something bad coming to Varys. I think bad things are coming for that eunuch, man. Okay, Alex Haina writes, prediction. The Mountain kills or is about to kill Arya, and that's when the Hound steps in and kills his brother. Yeah, it could go either way.
love
We're
that.
seeing,
That's true.
yeah, I mean, that's totally a possibility too. I can totally see that happening as well. Apex Caliber writes, was against Dany burning Cersei until Missandei. Yep. I think a lot of people are with you, Alex. A lot of people want to see Cersei burn right now. Could have made it worse by killing Tyrion too, but she killed that poor girl. As soon as she said, say your last words, I knew, okay, yeah, they're not going back on this. They're killing her, which was too bad. Lone Wolf X6 writes, well, Brienne finally got laid. Yep. And there was great celebrating across the world. She was happy.
Yeah, she had a lot of
happy.
smiles in the past couple episodes.
And tears and crying. Although it did set up a great joke. It's, what did Tyrion say to Jaime? Finally, you had to climb up for it.
Yeah.
Because you know how long I've been waiting to say that. That was and it was good seeing the brothers together.
I love them.
Yeah.
Right? Like seeing them first drinking together and playing the game. Then it's just the two of them after Jaime had sex with Brienne and talking about it. And it's like, that was a really good moment. I like seeing those two together. But I do think at least one of them going to die. Maybe both. Maybe both. All right. Kal-El writes, as Varys said last season to Dany, that he will do what is best for the realm. When do you guys see Varys telling everyone?
Hopefully he doesn't die before he tells anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
soon.
That's
He
what I'm
may
worried about.
confront Dany that he knows, and then Dany may have him killed.
That's what's scary.
Right.
That could happen. I don't know. I think, one of the things Varys said to Tyrion was, we're all going to have a decision to make. I don't think Varys has made his decision yet. I think he's going to have to see. I think he's going to wait to see what Dany decides to do next. But I don't think he's made his decision. I think she's going to maybe make the last order to say, nope, that's it. We're going in there. We're going to slaughter anybody that's there. We're going to get at Cersei, even if that means killing thousands of innocents, whatever. And I think that might be the point at which Varys steps up and starts telling some people, saying, we got to stop this.
Right.
At which point she may kill him then too. But what do you think, Corey? Do you think he's already made up his mind what he's going to do, or do you think he's waiting?
I think he's made up his mind because what I got out of the conversation between the two of them was Varys trying to sway Tyrion to side with Varys, saying, hey, look, we got a mad queen up in the house, and this is happening right now, and we have a probably better person for the throne, and I'm going to do what's right for the people. And Tyrion is still kind of on the fence, where I think Varys has made his decision.
What do you think, Anne?
No, I agree with Corey. I'm just trying to figure out how that plays out because, I mean, in episodic terms, there's only 2 episodes left, and I don't know who he can gather in his corner before the show's over and convince them that, we need to turn on Daenerys.
All right, let's keep going here. Next one comes to us from Tyler Birdman, who writes, next episode is directed by Miguel Sapochnik. I always mispronounce his name. Who directed Hard Home, Battle of the Bastards, and Battle of Winterfell. A great battle sequence is coming. Well, they're going to end this thing with a great battle sequence.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that in Game of Thrones tradition, I think the big battle sequence happens in the second to last episode.
I agree.
Yes.
And then they use the last episode to wrap up all the stories. Because they've been doing that the last number of seasons, having the big moments happen in the second last episode. So, Anne, you think that's what they're going to do this one as well?
Oh, yeah. And I think we've been talking about that all week, that, oh, my God, we forgot. Like, next week is the second to the last episode. And in terms of the way Game of Thrones has been running, that is where everything happens. So, yes, I totally believe that.
Corey?
I think also the next on Game of Thrones was all of them just bracing themselves.
Yes.
I think that's a good indication that something's going down. Yeah.
And by the way, I think that coming up next part of Game of Thrones, I think that's all happens in the first 5 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
I think that's all first, and then it's the war begins, and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's move on here. Where are we at? That was Tyler Birdman. Okay, so Lone Wolf X6 writes, Varys might betray Dany and die. Oh, I think that's what they may have been foreshadowing. What order that happens, and we'll have to wait and see. Chief Dog 1 writes, can't trust any of the Lannisters family first. I don't think you're wrong about that. I don't think you can trust any Lannister, not Cersei. Jaime, who knows? He's been back and forth. I mean, mostly he's been pretty noble the last 4 or 5 seasons. He's actually been pretty damn noble. Tyrion for the most part, but you're right. I don't know how far you can trust any of them, Chief. Al Zolez writes, Varys has a lot of balls for a eunuch. He absolutely does.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And again, the funny thing is he might be the closest thing, other than Jon Snow, to a true through and through good guy in this show.
Sure.
Like saying, I put the people above everybody else. No matter who the king is, who the queen is, you're just individuals. I put the needs of the people first. And that could lead to some very dark things coming for him. But you're right. He's got the biggest balls. Him and Lady Mormont had the biggest balls in this show. Damn it, I wish Lady Mormont wasn't dead. Anyway, Aiden Kozik writes, this episode had it all. Cry time, laughs, romance, payoff, drama, political intrigue, action. Top 5 episode for sure. I mean, when you put it like that, Aiden, it really did. I mean, I can't think of any part of this episode that I went, eh. Like, I was loving every scene. Like, I don't know, did you guys find any scenes that you thought were a little bit slow or a little bit out of place or anything like that?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's move on. Gene Kelly writes, if you started this episode hating Dany and then ended this episode wanting Dany to kill everybody, this episode did its job. I started off this episode thinking Dany was a jerk, and I ended this episode saying, well, now everybody knows Dany's a jerk. But you can't blame her for being pissed.
Yep.
Her dragon's dead, her best friend just died, her confidant died. And she just lost Jorah at the same time. I mean, yep, she's still a jerk and she's all about herself. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Diamond writes, Brienne should have chose Tormund. He's hotter anyway. But no, she had to go for the bad guy and got the royal flush. Got the royal flush. Get it? But I mean, remember, she's got history with Jaime.
Yeah. She's loved him for a long time.
It's not like two princes by the spin doctors. It's not like these two random guys just showed up and she had to pick one. Like, she's got a long history with Jaime. And that's gone back to practically, what was it, episode 2 or 3 that they first they encountered each other and then were prisoners together and set her. I mean, I think Tormund's love was destined to be, unreturned. I think that was destined for a long time. So, but oh God, I do love that character, and it breaks my heart that we may have actually seen the last of him. Breaks my heart. Okay, Aaron, where are we at here? Sorry, we had a big jump. Aaron Brennan writes, Jaime Nightkiller may or not kill Cersei. Well, Kingkiller, I mean. Jaime Kingkiller may or may not... Is it Kingkiller or Kingslayer? I thought it was a Kingslayer. Kingslayer may or may not kill Cersei, but Tyrion is going to end up being Mad Queen Killer, then live on as a drunk celibate monk, having killed all those he ever tried to love. Ooh! Because he killed... Remember, he was in love with that woman. Then he found out she was sleeping with his dad and betrayed him. And you're right. Ended up killing everybody he ever wanted to love. Killed the guy, his own father that he wanted to love. Couldn't. Actually, Aaron, I'll tell you what. You might be onto something there. All right, Anne, let me put it to you. Chances that we actually see Tyrion kill Cersei. Really?
Kill Cersei or kill Dany?
Kill Cersei.
Oh. I would say under 50%. I don't think he will.
What do you think, Ori?
I'm gonna still stick with the prophecy. It's gonna be Jaime or Tyrion.
But I mean, that's the thing. What do you think? What do you think the chances are that Tyrion actually does it?
50-50. Well, no, I think Jaime's gonna do it. So 25-75.
All right. We'll take that. Okay, let's move on here. Next one, Lone Wolf XX rates Daenerys whatever it takes to defeat Cersei.
Yeah.
Yep, but sometimes when you adopt a whatever it takes, you don't think about what's the smart thing to do.
Right.
And whatever it takes just tends to become whatever I should do right now. And I think that's always been her problem. A fan of Peanuts writes, so far, favorite episodes in season 8. Which is it for you all? Whew.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you what. I have loved every single episode so far. It still might be episode 1 for me. That first episode, I loved it. It was everything that makes, to me, Game of Thrones great was in that first episode, minus some action. But other than that, it was everything that makes me love this show so much. What about you, Corey? Which of the 4 would you say is your favorite one so far?
I'm on the fence between this one and Battle of Winterfell.
The last 2?
Yeah.
Anne?
I still am leaning towards last week's episode. Yeah.
For a lot of good reasons. There's a lot of good reasons to pick that one. All right, the hero writes, let down by this episode, pacing was awkward and rushed. Oh, I disagree. I don't think it felt rushed at all. But, I mean, hey, man, we all see these things. It all hits us in a different way. And to you, felt the pacing was awkward and rushed. I didn't share the same feeling, but you did. And, hey, man, that's your experience with it. Canada Rocks writes, John, Sansa already did something. She told Tyrion, knowing that it would raise doubt in him, she little-fingered him.
Yeah, she did.
Heyo.
I don't know about that. I just think she knew this was something too. I mean, look, first of all, John's first instinct was correct. This is something everybody should know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fighting for something that essentially is a lie. That she is the rightful Targaryen heir to the throne. That's part of the motivation for some people standing behind her. Some people have other motivations, but that's part of it. The notion that if people are going to march off and fight and die for her, people should know what the truth is.
Yeah.
And if they choose to then still fight and die for her, fine. At least they knew it. And I think that's the position Cersei finds herself in. That she's got this truth that she knows. And I mean, I don't know. Once John told them, I honestly didn't think they would tell anybody. I thought Bran would. But Corey, were you surprised when she finally broke down and told Tyrion?
Well, I was surprised, but I'm glad that she did, because I'm glad that they're having these conversations, because it's a huge threat. But it also shows me that Dany doesn't care about what's right for the people. She sees how much people love Jon Snow. Yeah. She sees, because she loves Jon Snow as herself, but yet she still wants the throne and thinks that she deserves it, even though she's still not the rightful heir, and she's asking Jon Snow to lie. I think she's got all these screws loose in her head now.
And did you, when Jon did tell finally him and Arya, did you think either one of them would spill the beans?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think Sansa's she's experienced so much where information was just not told to other people. At this point, what's it worth to keep it a secret, right? Mm-hmm. And like you said, the commenter said, she went to the school of Littlefinger, so that is exactly what you do. You give the information. You can't control what people are going to do with it, but they've got it, and she gave it to the right person.
Yeah, and I love what Varys even said, okay, how many people know? 8 people. It's no longer a secret. It's information.
Now it's information. That was a great line. Now it's information. Soon it will be a few hundred. And, it was a good line. All right, guys, listen, we've already been going for an hour, so I'm going to please don't send in any more questions. If you haven't sent in a question yet, please do not send one in anymore. We're going to try to get through these last number ones fairly quickly here. We're going to start off with... Jose Bravo writes, story getting a bit flaky to favor rushing plot. No, I disagree. But I will say this, Jose. With only 2 episodes left, see, I don't find anything in these 4 episodes have been rushed. I find nothing, personally, anything in this has been rushed. But seeing where they're at now and understanding there's only 2 episodes left, I will be straight up with you, brother. I fear we're going to get some rush stuff in the next 2 episodes. Because I do not feel like we're at a part, and I don't feel anything's been rushed up till now personally, but I also do not feel like we're within 2 episodes of satisfyingly wrapping this thing up. I feel like we're about 5 episodes out, not 2. So while I may not agree that we have been rushed, I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit worried of them getting rushy in the last 2 episodes. I'm worried about it. Straight up, I'm concerned about that, and we'll have to see how that works out.
Do we know the runtime for the last 2? Is it longer than 90?
I don't know.
I think the next one's 90, and then the one after that's a little bit shorter. I think.
But I mean, if they follow the pattern of the second to last episode's the big episode, and then the last episode's a little bit of wrapping up, that wouldn't be surprising. But I'm telling you, that's why I'm worried that they may rush the last couple. I haven't felt rushed so far, but I'm worried we may get there. Okay. Let's see. A fan of Peanuts writes, what is everyone's favorite season of Game of Thrones? Mine is season 6. Mine is season 7. Last season was actually my favorite season. Anne, what about yours?
Was that with the battle?
Yeah, Battle of the Bastards?
Yeah, I think so too, for me, season 7.
I cannot make that decision.
But this is coming pretty close. I'd have to finish it.
Or wait a minute, was it Battle of the Bastards?
I think Battle of the Bastards season 6, I think.
No. Was it?
Yeah, because Bolton, and then the new season, then after that he got... I don't know. Don't listen to me.
It's just, remember, guys, I'm not the hardest of hardcore Game of Thrones fans.
I'm looking it up.
What season did the Battle of the Bastards happen? You guys tell us in the chat board.
6.
Just jump in the chat board right now. There's about a 30-second delay, so I'm going to have to wait for you guys.
Season 6.
Yep.
It is season 6?
Yep.
Wow, I really thought it was season 7.
Because Snow goes in season 7 to meet Sansa, and then he
that's when they're gathering.
Hang out with Dany.
Oh my God,
they go,
you're right.
They go to
Yep,
Dragonstone.
now I remember. You're right. I really thought that was season 7. Do you know what then? Here's what I will think then that I might have to go season 6 as well.
Ooh, I can't pick.
I'll have to go season 6 as well.
This might be. Let's see.
Okay, let's keep moving on here. Let's see. Cool Jedi 976 writes, John, I feel like Gendry and Jon are going to be in the same exact roles / positions like Robert and Ned in season 1, completing the circle in episode 6. That's really an interesting thought.
Love this whole chat tonight. Very good theories. Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that. Oh God, I miss Ned.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Bean was so great. I now remember because when they killed him at the end of season 1, I'm like, well, I'm done with this show. I just, and you're right, the relationship between him and Robert Baratheon was so cool and so great. And I do miss those days. But because of what happened, it's led us to where we are now. Eric JF1991 writes, I second that, Kingdom. And hashtag Team Tormund. So we got another vote for Team Tormund there.
And Team Kingdom.
And another vote for Kingdom that I should check out. A fan of Peanuts writes, I hope Jaime kills Cersei. Arya can't get all the glory, right? Who do all of you want to sit on the throne, if anyone or no one at all? Clearly, to me, John. John deserves to sit on the throne. He is the most worthy to sit on the throne. The throne. He also has all the qualifications, I guess. He's got the bloodline. He's got all that kind of stuff, which tells me he won't. But to me, it would be John. What about you, man? Who do you want to see on the throne?
John.
John, you too?
Yes.
Corey?
I think it's like I've been saying this. I think it's going to be a republic.
So you think you're going to have nobody sitting on the throne?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see, where are we at? Apex Caliber writes, over under 30%, Cersei uses the wildfire on Dany's army. I think they used all the wildfire. I do not believe there's any left. I think whatever was left, Cersei used to kill all of her enemies in King's Landing, so I don't think there's any left. So I'm going to take under 30%.
I honestly don't think they need it at this point.
Yeah, and probably don't need it. Spencer Smothers writes, I think we will see a new army of the dead begin to rise by the end of the season, ruled by a Night Queen. Game of Thrones is all about circular storytelling. I don't know. I because this is the final season, I don't think they'll pull a BS kind of the end question mark.
Right.
I don't think they're going to do that. We don't have another season coming. There's nothing to set up for later. I would be very frustrated if they did that, to be honest with you. I would be frustrated. What do you got? Do you think they're going to set up a hanging thread that they never address like that, or do you think they're going to tie everything up?
I sure hope not. I want them to tie it up.
Yeah, same. I hope they tie it up too. But I mean, the prophecy comes back. You just have to assume it will happen again.
Yeah.
Not in this season.
Right. Okay, let's move on here. Kane Irturan writes, theoretically, isn't it possible that Jaime can use the Lannisters' troops against Cersei since he is the heir to Casterly Rock, since he is a male? Theoretically, yes, but that is superseded by the throne. The throne supersedes that. So I don't think he can.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think he can. All right. Let's see. Incomplete Control writes, does Oberon question how Tyrion knew Cersei is pregnant?
Does Oberon? Who's Oberon?
Does he mean Quiburn?
Because Oberon died.
I know. It's like Oberon's dead, I think.
So I'm not quite sure who you're referring to.
Maybe Quiburn then.
It's probably, yeah,
or maybe
probably.
Euron? He thinks you're
or Euron.
Maybe Euron's like, how does Euron...
Right, when he just found out.
Well, he was
she's
standing
pregnant.
right beside Quiburn when Tyrion was talking to the Queen, right?
Yeah.
So maybe, I guess, but maybe he just doesn't doubt. Maybe he's just never surprised when Tyrion knows something.
Right.
Elijah Chatham writes, can't believe they murdered my wife, R.I.P. Missandei.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yep, Fast and Furious girl is gone. As soon as he didn't find her on the beach, I'm like, oh, this isn't good.
Man, they went right after her, didn't they?
They really did. I thought they might kill her maybe next episode or something, but they was just like, nope, off with her head, and away she goes. Whew, they were not messing around. All right, a fan of Peanuts writes, I personally want Dany to kill Jon in some way. It would make for even greater drama and heartbreak. Or the dragon protects Jon over Dany?
Ooh, that'd be crazy. I don't
Ooh.
like that.
That would be nuts. Because I think if there's any dragon that would have been a little more,
The one that went down.
persuasive towards Jon is now dead.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to turn on his mother.
Right.
So I don't see that. But hey, listen, I would hate for Dany to kill Jon, but it does set up great drama. But we're in our final 2 episodes. I don't know if it's time to set up new drama. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. I'm gonna get, but I'll still say I think there's a 30% chance Dany kills Jon.
That's a high chance.
Yeah, that is.
Yep, I'm going to go 30. Like, I still think it's unlikely, but I think it's a very, very real possibility. Okay, Lone Wolf writes, what if Arya kills Daenerys in the finale instead of Jon? What a twist that would be. You know what? More than Arya doesn't seem to have anything out for Dany. There's never been any connection there. Cersei killing Dany. Like Cersei telling Brienne, take me to to King's Landing.
Sansa, you mean?
Sansa, I said Cersei killing. Sansa killing Cersei. Or killing Dany. I can totally see that. I could totally, because she hasn't liked her at all this entire time. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it's a possibility. What do you guys think about that thing, that Arya kills Dany instead of John. I think it's unlikely, but what do you guys think?
I don't think so. Like you have a good point. Arya doesn't really have a vendetta against Dany per se. She just wants to protect her family.
Yeah, and it seems like anyone that Arya goes after, there's a purpose or a reason, or they're on her list.
Because they hurt her family in some way.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think so either.
Okay, unless she thinks Dany's about to kill John, I suppose.
Yeah.
Stephen Mina writes, over under 40%, Tyrion takes the throne.
Yeah, there's...
Under.
I'm going to take... 40's a big number,
Yeah.
man. That's a big number. So I'm going to take under 40, but I would have taken over 30.
Oh.
I would have taken over 30. I'm going to set the line at Tyrion taking the throne at 35.
I go under 35.
You go under 35?
Yeah.
And what about you?
Oof, I'll go under.
All right. Emad writes, is there a way... I just told you, damn, Dany. Yup. It's like, I'm telling you what to do. Don't tell anybody the truth because it would affect what I want. She's a
scene
jerk.
Killed me.
Oh, but it did. It was a great scene because a lot of colors started to show. And you know what?
yeah.
I think for the first time, it was the first time John started to see it, I think.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute. You're telling me to
Yep.
lie to my family? You're afraid of the truth? And I think he started to see it. He still made a decision saying, nope, you're the queen. Whatever you say, we're going to follow. But you can tell, even for him, it's starting to erode a little bit. I think it's starting to erode a little bit. All right. Where are we at here? Eric JF writes, over under 20%, they show Bronn become Lord of High Garden.
Yeah.
In the final episode, why
I said
not?
that, yeah.
Why not? Yeah, the wrap-up episode?
Show Tormund, like, chilling with a ghost. Show him at High Garden. Bronn at High Garden.
He might die. He might twist and die, save Jaime's life or something.
I mean, I can see him, like he
I don't
said
know
he's
why
done
I
fighting,
meant
but I don't believe that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'll go over 20%. I'll take over 20% on that. Okay, a fan of Peanuts writes, over under 60%, the Hound faces the mountain next episode.
Oh.
Over.
Over.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
I won't say 100, but I'll go way over.
Yeah.
I will,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, I think that's going to happen. Alex Von Gollum writes, do you think John's parentage could make Dany lose?
I think it makes her crazy. That
Yeah.
that will make her lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's totally possible. Let's see. Alex follows up with, Varys might have an ace up his sleeve. Plot twist?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He's the one with
Yes.
all the little
Always.
birds. But he's got the ultimate ace up his sleeve right now, knowing who Jon Snow is. He's a Targaryen. He is the true heir to the throne, if you don't count the Targaryens being deposed from the throne. He's the one with the rightful claim over Dany. So... I mean, yeah, I think there's that, but I wouldn't put past him or anybody else in the show that he's got another ace up his sleeve.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
have to
true.
see if they play it. Okay, a fan of Peanuts writes, crazy twist, over under 10%. Before Cersei dies, she kills Arya, shocking all of us. Here's the problem. Just going over under 10% that Arya dies is tough enough. You're specifically calling that Cersei kills her. That's tough for me. I'm going to take, even though 10% is a low number, I'm going to take under 10% that Cersei kills Arya. Anne, what do you, over
Yeah.
under 10?
I don't think Cersei's killing Arya. If Arya dies, it's not Cersei that's killing her.
Corey?
Under. If Cersei kills anyone, it's going to be her brothers.
Okay, next one. Stuck on Bucky writes, can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. Go Danny. I don't know. If thousands of innocent lives, I don't know that that's breaking eggs.
Yeah.
Canada Rocks writes, that prophecy is only in the books. Is it only in the books?
No, it's not.
It's not only in the books because I didn't read the books and I know about it.
It was in season 4, like the first episode of season, when she has a flashback of her going and talking to a witch person.
lean a little closer
I'm
towards
sorry,
you?
I just
Thank
got
you,
very
thank you.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know about it, so it can't just be in the books. I've never touched the books. But I'm pretty sure it was when she was talking to the witch as she was younger. Wasn't it the witch told her that... Yeah, so I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't know how I would know that otherwise.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, because again, I'm not a huge fan of Game of Thrones. Not a huge fan of Game of Thrones. I've never touched the books. I probably never will. But I mean, maybe you're right. I don't know about that though. Santez Henderson writes, this episode was just spectacular. This is what makes this show so great. My heart was pounding when Rhaegal went down, but
Yeah.
never leave your dog.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Second time I teared up in this
Yeah.
season. That was unfortunate.
and now we're 2 dragons down. I tell you what, there were a few things I didn't think we'd see happen in this episode that happened, but I did not see another dragon die in this episode. I did not see that coming. So it was heartbreaking and it was surprising and it was like, whoa, what? I mean, and I wonder if John is going to feel guilt, realizing maybe if I had been riding him, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Okay. Alba Bradford writes, Maggie the Frog prophecy equals Cersei is not pregnant.
Who's Maggie the Frog?
I don't know who Maggie the Frog is, so I'm totally... Again, I don't know enough about Game of Thrones. Bobo Vasquez writes, I'm going to call the Iron Throne. It's Sansa and Tyrion.
Oh, I love it. I'd be all right with that.
They've been doing a lot of, foreshadow with the two of them talking together again, and... I mean, or she ends up as, Lady of Winterfell. And maybe Tyrion stays there with her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a legit chance, Hikari, that we could see Tyrion and Sansa?
I just don't see it. I mean, obviously it's very possible. I think maybe Tyrion, but I don't see Sansa for some reason. Ruler of Seven Kingdoms, that is.
Right.
She seems she wants Winterfell. She just seems mostly concerned about Winterfell. Right. So I don't know. Well, but it's an interesting idea. Let's see. Timothy Platt writes, do you think Sansa told Tyrion about Jon on purpose to create a rift between him and Dany? I would not doubt that might have been part of the motivation. I think part of it is the pure motivation. People need to know.
Yes.
Because this is wrong that people don't know this. It's wrong. But I do not doubt that it was also meant to sow a little seed of a rift. Because her biggest concern is the attachment that Tyrion has to Dany.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have no doubt that that's part of the motivation. Absolutely, that's part of the motivation. Senior Eric writes, where do we go? Senior Eric writes, better not wake up and see this video deleted. Yeah, of course, I had to delete last week's episode because I dropped a whole bunch of not a bunch, but I dropped a significant endgame spoiler, and I felt bad about that, so I took the video down. My apologies. Don't worry, I'm not dropping any endgame spoilers this week, so this one's staying up. Doug Cowell writes, you've claimed everyone is shades of gray, and Varys is the closest to a good guy. What's wrong with Jon Snow? He's always stayed true good to the end. Did I not specifically say that other than Jon Snow?
Yeah, you did say that.
Varys is kind of thing. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Doug. I completely agree with you. Other than Jon Snow, I think Varys is the closest we've had to a pure good guy. And of course Ned, but he died in the first season. Joseph Sorty writes, feeling this battle will have a huge twist. Oh, dude.
Of course.
I think they've got something in store for us that we are not going to see coming.
100%.
Maybe it's Ned comes out of the where I never died, but your head got cut off. It was a flesh wound. The Lord of Light brought me back. Woo! And I don't know, but it could be something. I mean, I don't even have a theory, guys. I don't even have a theory what it could be, but I do not doubt for a second, Joseph, that you're absolutely right. I think this isn't just going to be, okay, here we go, two armies, fight, and who's the last one standing? I think you're right. I think there's a twist coming. I don't know what that twist is. Maybe she still has, what's the name of that stuff? Nightfire, Dragonfire. And maybe she still does have a bunch of that, and she's like, screw you, if I can't have King's Landing, nobody will. I don't know. But I think you're right. I think something is coming. I just don't know what it is. Ben Burnside writes, there were too many survivors from last week, in my opinion. Okay.
Oh, man, here we go again.
Here we go again. You know what? Can I say something here? I said I wasn't going to drop any major endgame spoilers. But I'm going to say something here that is an Endgame spoiler. But I'm going to give you heads up warning here, okay, guys? If you have not seen Endgame, we've only got like 5 minutes left of the show anyway. Time to turn off the show. Okay? I've given you warning now. Given you plenty heads up warning. There's going to be an Endgame spoiler, an Avengers Endgame spoiler here, blah, blah, blah. There were so many characters that died last week that have been with us since season 1. Theon, Jorah, others. Significant, important characters that died along the way. I do not understand this notion of the fourth to final episode. It's not even the final episode. It still had 3 more episodes to go. This notion that, I can't be satisfied because not enough people died. More people should have died. More important people should have died. When in Avengers Endgame, all the Avengers and all their people fight this huge army and none of them die. None. As a matter of fact, if you were to ask How many heroes died? The answer is -1. John, what do you mean -1? I mean, Iron Man died, but then 2 people who were dead are now back. Loki's back, Gamora's back. So you're actually -1 person died. In that whole big battle, not a single hero died until Tony at the very end with a snap. That's it. One. But nobody complains about that with Endgame. Understandably so. I'm not complaining about it either. But I don't know how you see this episode of Game of Thrones that's not even the final or even the second to final episode or even the third to final episode. And a bunch of these important characters who have been around since season 1 die and say, well, I can't like that because not enough people died. And yet you watch Endgame and -1 person dies in Endgame and be perfectly okay with that. I don't understand that. So many people died last week. But because it wasn't Jon Snow, it's not sad. Dude, we still had 3 episodes in the season to go.
And why do they have to die to be satisfied?
Yeah. I think it's just because Game of Thrones has set up this
Yes.
cadence of
Yes.
major
Yeah.
deaths, surprising deaths, and people expect it, but it doesn't serve the purpose for the story to have had those characters die in that episode, in my opinion.
We don't want it to become
look,
a
Miss
thing.
Sandy had to live because they needed her to die this episode.
Right.
The dragon needed to live because they needed him to die this episode. And I'm sure there are a few other characters who survived the Battle of Winterfell because they're either going to die next week or in the finale. There are still lots of death to go around. So I've never understood that. I'm not trashing on anybody who thought that. I'm just saying I can't agree with it and I can't relate to it because, I mean, if you're going to complain that big battle and the heroes don't die, well, then you can't appreciate that. Well, what about Endgame? Literally until the very end when Tony snaps his finger, none of them died. Not one. Huge battle against Thanos, the Black Order, all his numerous raging armies and all that kind of stuff, and not one died. And nobody complains about that, but because only 12 people died in the Battle of Winterfell, that somehow is an issue. I don't know. That's just me, but to each their own. We all watch this stuff and it hits us all in different ways. Okay, let's keep going here. That was Ben. Michael Blake writes, this is all going to end with Gendry on the throne. I've been telling Matt, I thought for a while there's a solid like 10-15% chance Gendry ends up on the throne. This kid, remember, this was a major story right from season 1 of Ned doing his investigation, finding out about Gendry the whole time, then being found by the Red Woman, all that kind of stuff. I do not believe that all happened just for nothing.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that means he's going to end up on the throne, but that's why I am at least 10 to 15% behind this, that this can actually happen. All right, Just Wally writes, this episode was classic Game of Thrones. Give Dinklage all the awards.
Yeah.
Oh, I completely agree. How many Emmys has he won?
I don't know.
I don't know. Give
Doing
him
this
all of
show?
them.
I mean, it's been a ton. Hold on a second. Let me just look this up quick, because I think this is worth looking up here. I'm going to look up Peter, not Kinglage.
Dinklage.
I mean, it could be.
Peter Dinklage on IMDb, and we're going to go over to his awards page. Where the hell are his awards?
It should be up there, just right there. That yellow highlighter. Go back. Right there. Oh, go back. Slower. Right there.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay. He has won. Oh my God. Okay. So he has won 1 Golden Globe. He has won 1, 2, 3 Emmys for Outstanding Actor. He's won 3 Emmys for Best Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. He's been nominated for Most Outstanding Supporting Actor in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 7 years Game of Thrones has been up.
Wow.
Every single year that Game of Thrones has been out, he's been nominated for Best Supporting
Amazing.
Actor.
I think Cersei too. Lena Headey.
Yeah.
Really?
Or yeah, a lot of them. I could be dead wrong.
I don't remember her being, but at any rate, yeah, Dinklage was great in this episode. I think he's been great this season, and I think he's going to continue to be great for the last 2 episodes, at least at any rate. Okay, let's move on here. Where are we at? Ryan Lohner writes, John Oliver tonight. In 2 weeks, this network is so deeply fucked.
I know.
You know, it's funny. We were downstairs watching with our friend John Green, Soul Video, and he said, what's HBO going to do now? But I mean, HBO was around before Game of Thrones. They've got the Game of Thrones prequel series coming. We're going to talk about that a little bit on the John Campea Show tomorrow. But I don't know. I mean, this is, guys, the crown jewel in the HBO crown, right? Like, they are going to take a hit from this, are they not?
Yeah, but I think they'll have other shows.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely not at this caliber, but
Right.
when I was growing up, Sex and the City was massive. You know, they always have something up their sleeve.
Yeah, they got a few great shows going right now. What's the one where the hitman becomes the actor?
Oh, Barry.
Barry, that's
Barry,
great, by the way.
Big Little Lies is coming back.
Little
Big Little Lies
Lies
is coming back. Ballers is out there, right? I mean, they've got a lot of big shows, but you're not. John Oliver's not wrong. And by the way, they got John Oliver too. John Oliver isn't wrong. I mean, you're losing your biggest, best, most popular show you've ever had.
Sure.
Maybe not the best show you've ever had, but an argument can be made for that. But certainly the biggest show they've ever had. It's going to be tough for HBO for a little while, I think. Samuel Overby just sends in a super chat. Thank you, Samuel. And the last couple of questions here. Cisco Vids writes, in the end, no one takes the throne. Houses divided.
Corey.
I mean, that's Corey's theory, Cisco. I mean, right on board with that. The houses are too divided. Maybe they just all remain 7 separate kingdoms
Be nice.
without a centralized throne.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what John finally says. He says, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
Starks will take care of Winterfell. You guys look after this. And everybody just goes back to their own independent without a single throne. I mean, that's a possibility, maybe. Let's see. Cameron Turk writes, I was in horrible shock when Rhaegal dies. I was really hoping to see Jon ride him one more time. Euron now needs to die a painful death. Oh.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say he's the new Ramsay?
Yes,
Yeah, he's
absolutely.
pretty awful.
He's just annoying to look at, too.
Yeah.
It's just annoying to look at.
I mean, perfect
got the
acting on
jerk
his
face.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that shit-eating grin, too, right?
Right.
Like when he smiled, like, ugh.
When he looked and he's like, it's my baby. I'm like,
Like, you want to, like, take a
"Ugh."
shower just looking at him. Like, "Ah."
Woo! You should write that on his dating profile. You want to take a shower after just looking at him. All right, final question of the night, guys. Cinematic Galaxy writes, I'm thinking Dany is on Arya's list now. That's what she's off to do. Honestly, Dany seems to be just as dangerous as Cersei to me now. I just don't see that Dany has done anything egregious in any way. Like, Sansa doesn't like her and doesn't trust her, but is that enough to get on Arya's list?
Right.
I mean, her whole like Arya said, they owe their lives to Dany. Like, Dany bringing her armies there did that. Is she a jerk? Yes, but has she done anything to get on Arya's death list? I don't know. I don't think she has. And look, we've always known that Cersei is on her death list. So that's why, as an audience member myself, when I see her say to the Hound, I also have unfinished business in King's Landing. My mind just instantly goes to Cersei. But I mean, could she be meaning somebody else, you guys?
I think she's out there to go get Cersei.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see anything else. I don't think she's got anybody else unfinished business in there.
No,
And I think
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think she just has a strange love and respect for the Hound that she might help the Hound kill
That's
Mountain.
true.
The Mountain?
too.
Yeah, that
That's
could be
true,
there too. I love that line, by the way. Are you going to leave me to die if I get hurt again? Probably. That was a great little line between them. I enjoyed that very much. All right, guys, that will do it for this week's installment of our Game of Thrones post-episode discussion. Guys, there's only 2 episodes left. Just 2 episodes left, so make sure you come on back next week to join us as we talk about those episodes as well. I want to thank the people who are here joining me for this little conversation. First of all, Ann Campea. Ann, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Ann Campea on Twitter and Instagram.
And Kaori, where can people find you?
You can find me everywhere, KAORIOUS.
And you guys, of course, can simply follow me just at John Campea. That'll do it for us for this week's, guys. Thanks for joining us, giving us a group of people to talk about Game of Thrones with. We'll be back again next week. And also, guys, don't forget, the John Campea Show returns tomorrow. Got some record breaking going on with Endgame and stuff like that we're going to have to talk about. Make sure you join us at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow morning, or just watch us after that. No big deal. My name is John Campea, guys. Thanks for being here, and until our next video, bye-bye.